Let's talk about Belcalis, who continues to keep her foot on trashy K neck because even though she's been permitted that she can't mention anything about Cardi B, she likes to do little side quests to inadvertently say things about people, but without actually saying a certain person's name, and then wonders why Cardi continues to come after her because Tasha's an idiot and she hasn't learned her lesson. And Cardi just gonna have to keep putting her foot on her neck until this dumb bitch learns, but clearly she doesn't. So Cardi is asking for the judge to order sanctions against blogger Tasha K for allegedly violating a non-disclosure agreement by speaking about her and her exes, Offset and Stefon Diggs. She said the gossip blogger known as Tasha K has continued to disparage her and her family despite an agreement to stop. And now she's now asking the judge to impose economically painful sanctions on the host of Unwind with Tasha K. I don't know why you don't just do a whole full, you know what? You're gonna keep talking, bitch. I'm gonna take your entire channel. Basically, buy out Unwind with Tasha K, ban her off YouTube, where she don't even have access to her shit. And then she can't even come out and say nothing else about you. Because it's clearly she's not learning her lesson. She ain't give you the money that she owes you. So maybe you need to follow in that point. And I know people say like, "Oh, you keep coming at the black woman," but this lady keeps saying stuff about her, and she keeps giving her constant warnings. But the fact of the matter is, your ego is so goddamn big, and you don't like the fact that you're looking like a punk in front of your damn fan base that you just can't let the situation go. And at the end of the day, if I said something and if somebody send me a cease and desist or whatever, y'all look, I ain't got time to be going back and forth and fight with you. If it bothers you that much that I'm saying stuff about you, then I don't need to talk about your ass anymore. There's millions of other celebrities out here that I could just speak tea on. But I'm not in the business of trying to break news or sit up here and talk about somebody had an STI and say all these different things because you want to be Miss Exclusive, because that's how a lot of y'all want to run out in these streets. The news comes out, I react to it, and I keep it moving. I don't have time to be sitting up out here trying to break stories or whatever. Now, if I hear some stuff, I'm gonna allegedly put allegedly all over it, and I'm gonna just say whatever. But a lot of people just want to be out here in the business of, oh, I want to be, I want the 1 million followers, and I don't give a fuck about all that. Like, if you like the show and you want to follow, you want to support, I'm internally grateful for the fact that you love what I do over here and you support the show. But I'm not caught up in a place where I'm so deeply insecure and I'm only like my validation comes from a lot of y'all sitting at home watching and all this other stuff. Like, what joy does that give me at the end of the day that I'm showing my fans at home who's sitting there just eating their popcorn, enjoying all of this shit, who really don't give a fuck about you, quiet as it's kept, that you out here just doing this stuff because you trying to prove that you were alpha female and you David going up against Goliath, and Goliath keeps slapping your ass down with all these lawsuits because you looking stupid. You the one that decided to put yourself in a situation where you were making up stories and lies about her and so many others because you want a moment, because you want to still be out here maintaining a sense of virality. You would think this lady would learn her lesson, but clearly ain't a lot of situations going on up in that brain of hers. So, in a new motion filed Friday and obtained by Rolling Stone, Cardi said the blogger, whose legal name is Latasha Kibi, has repeatedly ignored warnings that she violated a non-disparagement deal tied to her Chapter 11 plan. And I don't understand how you continue to go after somebody and you ain't got two pennies to rub together, according to you. Under the deal, Kibi agreed not to denigrate Cardi, born Belcalis Almanzar, or her estranged husband Offset, born Kiari Cephas, the new filing states. So yeah, you're not even supposed to bring up their names, but she did. Because recently you heard about the whole situation with Offset getting pow-powed, and he was in the hospital. And I'm gonna get into what she said. Because you bringing it up. Now, you forgot what you signed and what the deal was? Because you said you wasn't supposed to denigrate him, but because she wants to go viral with it, all the rest of us out here who are freely able to speak on what's going on, you can't miss out on your moment, but you forgot. You the one that got dragged to court. You the one that got the cease and desist, which last we checked, then you go on social media and say you wiped your ass with that cease and desist, or you gonna wish you could pull that shit out the toilet now and unwipe it with the swamp ass. So that's what you decided to do with the cease and desist, which is why you are where you are right now. But of course, accountability. People are allergic to taking that whole situation into their care or to even do that. So then they said for her part, Almanzar agreed to delay efforts to collect the full 3.9 million defamation judgment she won against Kibi at trial 4 years ago. The agreement requires Kibi to pay 1.2 million over the first 5 years, Rolling Stone previously reported. Wasn't she set up a whole GoFundMe and allegedly Nicki Minaj gave you a little coin, which you revealed on social media that she gave you a little money for your situation? Which is dumb because if she hates Cardi B that much, at the end of the day, if you helping her out, that money is going to Cardi. And I don't think she cares how she getting her money. She want her money. Now, according to the new motion for sanctions, Kibi started breaking the agreement shortly after it was confirmed in March. Debtor, Latasha Kibi, has engaged in a relentless course of conduct designed to target and harass Ms. Almanzar and her family through thinly coded references, scantily veiled commentary, and strategic provocation, all while knowing that her audience of over 1 million social media followers will immediately and universally identify Ms. Almanzar as the subject, the filing made in Florida bankruptcy court claimed. The Grammy winning rapper and her lawyers say some of the references in Kibi's social media posts involve Almanzar's ex boyfriend, Stefon Diggs, while others reference her alleged rivalry with Nicki Minaj. They say Kibi and her lawyer have been warned multiple times, but that Kibi had posted comments about CFIS multiple times over the last week and as recently as less than an hour before their motion was filed. Now, in a video posted on Twitter on Friday, Kibi let out a laugh and said, Offset works at the casino. He's down there 5 days a week, clocking in. She claimed that he uses everybody else's money to gamble with. I was told he would probably still be in a certain relationship if he wasn't gambling away all that money. So you was told this by who? Because you ain't in Cardi and Offset house or whatever their situation was. So you out here making assumptions when you don't know what you're talking about. And of course, when you say that, he would be in a certain relationship if he wasn't gambling away all that money. You're implying that you was out here gambling away Cardi's hard-earned money because clearly she was the breadwinner. She was the one that was making a lot of the money. She was the man of the house. No shade, but she was. And so now with you making an implication that is inadvertently coming at Cardi, hence why that's riling her up again to go to the courts. Oh, this bitch is talking about me. I'm talking to you how Cardi from the Bronx be talking. That bitch is talking about it. Get her, Jade. That's literally what she was saying to her damn attorneys, and they like on it. And you would think that if you had like good attorneys on your side, they would have been telling you, sis, what are you doing? But lights are on, no one's home, clearly. She further stated that shortly before she was injured during a pow powering, or before he was injured during a pow powering at the Seminole Hard Rock Casino and Hotel in Hollywood, Florida on Monday, he had lost a large amount of money. Cardi's lawyers say they've been forced to constantly monitor Kibi's social media for alleged violations amid an ongoing cat and mouse game over the last year. They've documented more than 2 dozen egregious violations on the non-disparagement clause, they allege. Debtor still believes that she is above the law, consequences, and is invulnerable, the filing says, and what make this pattern a defiance particularly egregious is not merely the violations themselves, but what debtor has openly admitted in public broadcasts. She has made clear that she intends to resume harassment of Ms. Almanzar once the debt is paid off. Kibi's lawyer, Chad Van Horn, you need to fire him because clearly he doesn't have your best interest at heart, or maybe he's just as dumb as she is, did not immediately respond to a request for comment. In a statement to Rolling Stone last year, he called his client's bankruptcy plan a milestone agreement. A milestone agreement? Oh, yeah, you hit a milestone, all right. You literally getting your funds dried out, allegedly. Because word on the street is she out here shoveling, she hiding funds. He said Kibi's unsecured creditors, not including Almanzar, was set to receive about 30% of their allowed claims. By reaching this agreement, all parties can avoid prolonged litigation, fulfilling bankruptcy's essential purpose. The resolution also enables Ms. Kibi to focus on her work while repaying creditors in an organized manner. In the underlying label and defamation lawsuit that led to the 3.5 million defamation judgment, Almanzar said Kiwi's campaign slander involved demonstrably false allegations that Almanzar had herpes, used booger sugar, and worked as a prostitute. Now, taking the witness stand to plead her case, Almanzar testified that she suffered extreme anxiety and depression after Kiwi posted several YouTube videos with these false statements. She told jurors that severe stress caused her weight to fluctuate and led to issues in her personal relationships, a courtroom source told Rolling Stone. In her Friday filing, Almanzar says she's seeking attorneys' fees as well as coercive and remedial sanctions to ensure future compliance, including monetary penalties for future violations. She said the burden in policing Kiwi will fall on her shoulders unless the court intervenes. Without concrete sanctions that make violations economically painful, debtor has every incentive to continue precisely as she has been, post in violation of the plan and confirmation order, generate views and revenue, belated retract only when caught, and repeat, the 46-page filing reads. Well, look, like I said, I understand that you want your money, you want to be paid what you owed, and the only way you're gonna get that is by her being out here doing what she does, unwinding with her winos. Now, but if she's not gonna understand that you can talk about everybody else, anything to do with Cardi B and anything going on in her situation with her exes, whatever the case is, because it's written in a clause that you can't mention nothing about Offset. I don't know about Stefon Diggs if he's in there, or any other future relationship she gets in with. I don't know if that's in the contract, but if it has to do at the time, because you were saying it with Offset, yeah, Offset's off limits. You could say stuff about Stefon Diggs, I'm sure, but if it has to do anything with Cardi B, you cannot mention her name in any way. And that doesn't mean literally you can't say her name, but you could talk about her in all these different ways. You can't say nothing about this lady. That's a part of the contract. Not even inadvertently, not indirectly, not sideways, not up, vertically, horizontally, whatever it is you want to say. You can't say nothing about this lady. So you're just going to have to lose out on revenue with her and talk about other people. I don't understand why influencers, bloggers, people who work in the entertainment space can't just give their opinion without having to be nasty, without having to say real disgusting, derogatory things about people because you want to be able to find a way to stand out from all the rest. If you got the ability and the gift for gab, if you got the talent, you don't need all them extra bells and whistles in order to go viral. But that's how some of y'all are, because y'all don't have the talent or the range to be able to do what we do over here. So y'all have to pull these little stunts and shows in order to get that kind of clout or that virality or that attention. Me, I don't give a fuck about that. I just report the news and give my opinion on it. And if it goes viral, it goes viral. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I get paid either way. So I'll definitely keep abreast of the story as it develops. But like I said, the problem is Trashy's ego is bigger than the plot, and it's just clouding her common sense in so many ways. So I'll never keep this you abreast of the story as it develops. I don't know what Cardi needs to do at this point for her to like, okay, when is this girl gonna learn her lesson? Because she's just gonna keep playing in my face. Excuse me, and I gotta keep getting the courts involved in her mess. Maybe it needs to come to a point where you need to ruin this lady to the point where you take away her damn channel. Maybe that's what needs to happen for her to learn her damn lesson. And she needs if she needs a gig, I'm sure Amazon is hiring. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below.